What is up, fellow thermonuclear AFers? I am Dan Favale coming at you with another edition of Who Says No, because I saw something that I wanted to tackle. Didn't read it because I want to talk to you guys about it in real time. I think those reactions are best. Very quickly, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Please help us build this community that is always growing, stagnant a little bit at the moment, but help us bring those subscribers up. Hit sub, like and comment on the video to help the algorithm love us back. Tell people about us if you haven't already. Recommend us to your friends, family members, acquaintances, coworkers, random people on the street, even your enemies, anyone who appreciates some seriously unserious NBA talk. It does mean the world to both Grant and I when you hit that sub button. And we put out so much, what I believe is really good, high quality content that it warrants being a little bit more popular on YouTube than we currently are. Anyway, though, the thing that I wanted to tackle is written by Bleacher Report's Eric PINCUS. We'll throw it up on the screen. The 3-team trade that would make the Los Angeles Lakers contenders. I mean, my God, that's a pretty steep bar right now because the Lakers are so far away from contention. Anthony Davis balling out at the moment. They did just lose to the Suns, though, despite him having basically an historical performance. And he looks banged up, and yet he's still dominating over the past 4 or 5 games. That's huge for them. I just don't, even when you get LeBron back, even with Russ playing better off the bench, even getting some surprise performances from Lonnie Walker, Austin Reeves, solid for them. Getting them to contention's a tall ask, but there's a 3-team trade in here. So I'm excited to dig into the details here. And sort of the trigger it asks a fundamental question of, should we tell the Lakers to trade their 27 and 29 first round picks? And Zach Lowe pointed out, as Pincus wrote, that it's easy to just say, do it, trade them. But if you can't become a contender, what's the point? Half-assing it and going after it. Look, do you think Miles Turner and Buddy Hield alone make the Lakers contenders? I would say no, that they're a lot better and the team makes a lot more sense. But are they championship contenders? No. For Josh Richardson, Jakob Poeltl, and Doug McDermott? No. For Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier? I would also say no. Maybe some of those trades, the Spurs and the Hornets one specifically, does it let you keep any of those first round picks? Sure, maybe. I mean, maybe. I don't know what the cost of getting off Russ now is. His salary, yes, it's expiring. People point out, but it's just so freaking large. You're not acquiring him with the purpose of rerouting him. You're probably going to buy him out or waive him. And so because that number's so large, you probably need to give up value for a team to take that in. Now, has that cost lowered because we're in the middle of the season? If things happen close to the trade deadline, when players who signed in free agency are, trade eligible in mid-December, some of them mid-January, even just close to the February deadline, I honestly don't know. I would think that maybe you can then do it by giving up a first-round pick, probably not one first-round pick, or maybe even none, depending on who you're taking back. But the number's just so big, and no team, I don't think, is going to, as okay as Russ has looked off the bench at points, no team's going to acquire Russ and say, hey, I want to use him, essentially. Like, there's no team out there. You can name one in the comments if you got one. I'll listen. I'll respond, but I'll read. I'll respond. Can you listen to comments? Who the fuck knows? So when you're dealing with that puts the Lakers at a disadvantage. So maybe later in the season does make it easier. However, if you're the Lakers and you want to preserve your cap space where you can get to above 30 million roughly this summer, that's not necessarily a max, but it's enough to really go out there and get some impact players. Now you're insisting on only taking players back who come off the books this season, or if they don't, you better be damn sure that you want to keep them long term. I don't think you could say, I want the extra year of Buddy Hield, or even with Doug McDermott. His salary is low. I don't know if I'm going to want that on the books. And if you are going to acquire guys on expiring contracts while giving up first round picks, you want to know that you want to keep them. And Miles Turner, really good fit. I think him and Anthony Davis would be great together. But is that like do you know that you want to pay Miles Turner big time money when he goes into free agency next summer? So that's the challenge the Lakers are working with here. And while it's all on Rob Pelinka and the front office and ownership, Jeannie Buss, for not addressing these issues before the season. Now that they're embroiled in it and so far away from contention, it has to be a home run. Otherwise, they're going to get lampooned for making a move that would wind up transitioning the Lakers to, the top 8, 9 of the West rather than sort of the upper echelon. And then, heaven forbid it doesn't actually work out. They're going to get crucified even further. So this is my point of saying, I kind of understand why the Lakers are reluctant to make a move because they waited too long and fucked up in the first place. But let's get to this 3-team trade. Heart of the deal. The following is legal before December 15th, when most recently signed free agents are eligible for trade. The parameters could shift in a month with additional names potentially in play. The Lakers trade Russell Westbrook, Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn, and 2 future first-round picks in 2027 and 2029. The Brooklyn Nets trade Kyrie Irving to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Detroit Pistons trade Bojan Bogdanovic, Alec, Burks, and Nerlens Noel to the Los Angeles Lakers. So in this trade, there's not any picks specified. I think PINCUS even notes that. Outside of LA, the who gets what is subjective based on what the Nets prioritize most. So we'll get to that in a second. If you're the Lakers, would you give up Russ, Beverley, Nunn, those 2 first, to get Kyrie Irving, Bojan Bogdanovic, Nerlens Noel, and Alec Burks? All of these players come off the books next season, except for Bojan Bogdanovic, who just signed a 2-year extension. It's really a 1-year extension because of how little's guaranteed on that second year. He's a perfect fit for the Lakers, who are 28th in 3-point attempt rate right now. And they're like mid-end when it comes to 3-point accuracy. And it gives you some self-creation too on the perimeter. Not going to rebound a ton for you. There are some, if he's at the 4, he can hold some defensive assignments. You also get Nerlens Noel when he's healthy. He's just really, he's pesky on the defensive end. Good rim protector, can really party crash passing lanes. Do you want him playing with AD? I'd probably argue not. But the AD, Bojan, LeBron front line, that just makes a lot of sense offensively. And Burks can be sort of another creator. When he's healthy, you don't want him starting at point guard like the Knicks had him times last year as like their primary ball handler. As a secondary guy, though, I like him better than Kendrick Nunn. I even like him as a ball handler. Let me be clear. I like him as a ball handler and creator better than Patrick Beverley. So that's a haul for the Lakers. And you're maintaining some of your flexibility, but you probably just want to re-sign Kyrie, who, if you're willing to take on the baggage that comes with him off the court at this point, and you can't just write that off. You can't be dismissive of the documentary that he promoted on Twitter. Seems like he went through the due process with the Nets. He did say what felt like some genuine comments before his return against Memphis, but then it was evasive about questions about the demonstration that was happening outside Barclays after that. Wherever you land on Kyrie Irving, again, you shouldn't support anything that he has mostly said on like that matter, and refusing to really come out and denounce anti-Semitism for so long is a problem. I'm looking at this from just the basketball perspective, and I don't know if it's fair. I'm not trying to dismiss everything else. That baggage is part of it, but from a basketball perspective, he makes the Lakers just a lot better. He's a much cleaner fit than Russell Westbrook. We've seen him work with LeBron before. So this is to get Kyrie, Bojan, Burks, and Nerlens Noel for the 2 firsts, Russ, Pat Bev, and Kendrick Nunn. You decongest the guard situation. Like, yeah, you're getting back 2 guards, but you're trading 3. And the Lakers just have this influx of guards. So it just looks a little bit cleaner there. Bojan Bogdanovic isn't really a wing. You can get some wing minutes from Alec Burks, though, more than you can from like a Kendrick Nunn or a Russ. Like, you don't want those guys going up against like actual ball handling 3s or even 2s necessarily. So I like this for the Lakers, but how do we deal with the compensation for the other teams? Who gets what is subjective, like PINCUS said. They could swap out Irving for Westbrook or take on the Lakers' lower price role players for significant luxury tax savings. That would be interesting. Are the Nets, if they're moving Kyrie, and like the Nets could move Kyrie. He's leaving this summer. If he's back in Brooklyn, I will be floored next season. And they're not contending for a championship right now. They just fell apart against a Sixers team that had neither Tyrese Maxey nor Joel Embiid nor James Harden. Their defensive effort was dog shit. Kyrie and KD looked like they were very lackadaisical on defense. So if you're the Nets, you could just move Kyrie to get rid of the headache, and maybe you just think you might be better off without him, especially on the defensive end right now. So I am not ruling out that they might actually move him. Now, what do you want as compensation for that? If you want to lower your tax bill, I don't really know. Like, I think I'd probably just prefer having, because the Lakers role players come off the books too. But if it's a difference of first round equity and on the Nets, like I would prefer the Lakers future first round picks over, having a cheaper luxury tax bill now while also having money come off for the, also having money come off the luxury tax bill, but also knowing that these players aren't going to be here long term. The why for the Lakers was easy. We just went through that as well. The Nets, look, if you're trading, and this is where it hits, Kyrie Irving has, as Zach will call it, sort of radioactive trade value right now. I don't think that any team is going to give up substantial value other than the Lakers to get him. And so if you're worried about the luxury tax, which PINCUS says the Nets have about roughly $293.1 million in in salary, including luxury taxes, that's a lot. And if you add Westbrook, Brooklyn actually increases that burden because of how much more Westbrook makes. The Nets could look to get rid of other players in this deal, as Pincus notes, but like Seth Curry and Joe Harris are important players. Like, you don't have there's no bad money on this team's books. Like, even no matter how you feel about Joe Harris. And so would you be willing to just go the role player route while having Westbrook end up going to Detroit? That would be interesting, just because you're not getting 2 first-round picks in that equation. Are you even getting 1 would be the question. That's how low Kyrie Irving's value is. So look, you can say they should just keep Kyrie even if they don't want him. Maybe they work out a sign and trade over the summer. That's possible. More teams are going to have cap space, and there's no guarantee that Kyrie Irving works with you in that situation. He's an unrestricted free agent. So you can take on Beverly and Nunn for the Lakers, and like you can make it happen that way. I just don't know what the pick compensation looks like. It's not helping you on the court. I would say Beverly's probably a nice fit for this roster, especially they've played Joe Harris the 4 against the Sixers because they had Patty Mills on the court with Kyrie Irving and Seth Curry. Pat Bev makes more sense in that scenario than a Patty Mills, or if you're going to downsize to that degree. So let's say I would say the Nets have to get 1 first-round pick here. And as Pincus notes, they would also get a trade exception. So that helps them as well. I don't hate this for Brooklyn. If you're getting a Lakers first-round pick, regardless of whether you're taking back Westbrook or these players, I think that's fine. Detroit is probably a different question. The Cade Cunningham shin injury, we still don't know, as I'm recording this, whether he's going to get surgery. A lot of people just assume he's going to get surgery, be out for a while, the rest of the year, whatever. And that's why Bogdanovic has all of a sudden entered the trade block, even though he was signed to an extension, implying that they really valued the spacing he brought. They're not really trying to necessarily win now, but he streamlines a lot of things. He does still do that without Cade, but you're more invested in bottoming out if you're not going to have Cade. I think they could do that organically without moving guys, but if you can get a Lakers distant first-round pick, that matters. The Pistons are not working with all these additional first-round picks like some of these other teams. When you look at OKC, when you look at Houston, even Orlando having some Bulls and Nuggets commitments moving forward, even the Spurs having a couple extra first-round picks. I think they have the Bulls one from the DeMar DeRozan sign and trade. Maybe that's actually... Oh, and then, of course, the Hawks picks from the Murray trade. Can't believe I forgot that. Utah, are they rebuilding, or are they the favorite to win the title at this point? So getting 1 Lakers first-round pick is absolutely a big deal because it's unprotected, and down the line in 2027, we're talking about that's post Anthony Davis's current contract, post LeBron's era, probably in Los Angeles. It's not the NBA entirely. You're waiting a while, but like it's one of the primetime assets. And I've argued this, 27 is more valuable to me than 29, because when you go to 2029, you're still giving the Lakers too much time to sort of stumble into free agents or scenarios where stars want to go there via the open market for that pick to then decline in value. And so if you're getting the 2027 pick, I think that makes a ton of sense. Now, let's just say, like, if the Nets are willing to take Westbrook in this scenario, I think let's just see if there's any other details here. So let's go back to the actual trade so you guys can stare at it on the screen, because you need to figure out who's going where. I think if you're the Pistons or the Nets, you probably both sort of haggle over you would rather the Lakers role players over Russell Westbrook being grandfathered into your roster. But I think the cleanest way is to have Russell Westbrook end up in Brooklyn. Like, they might need to shed other salary that way. But if you're sending him it might be easier to send him to Detroit just because they're not invested in winning now. You could buy him out. Maybe you save a little money off the top and he's free to sign somewhere else. And if you do that, if you're the Pistons, are you doing that for 1 first-round pick? I think you need probably something else. Can you get the Lakers to give you Austin Reeves? Can you get the Lakers to give you some second-round picks? But if I'm the Pistons, I would at least consider it if I'm assuming this season is just done, because you are getting a first-round pick, and all it's costing you at this point is extra money this season. It's not long-term money on your books, and you're getting that Lakers first-round pick. If you're getting the choice of picks too, and then if you're the Nets in a vacuum, you want more than 1 single first plus role players for Kyrie Irving. That being said, what else? Who else is giving up a unprotected first-round pick that is even in 2027 or beyond, what other team is doing that right now? Would the Mavericks even give up their 2025 first round pick, which is what they could trade for Kyrie Irving? So if the Lakers are willing to give that up, I think it's worth doing. Now, what would be interesting, does Detroit demand the two first round picks here, just if they're the ones taking on Russ? Because I think with the difference with the Nets is that because they can't necessarily demand value for Kyrie Irving, that they're not going to have the leverage to say, give us the two. They might. I'm just saying, like, they have the Lakers over a barrel in theory, but they might not be able to get as much, because if Kyrie can't net them anything from another team, it's all right. Well, you just get the 1 first round pick and you could take on Westbrook, send out Kyrie, and the deal is done. With the Pistons, it's different because they can charge the tax of, we're taking on the Russ money and we're giving you Bojan Bogdanovic, Alec, Burks, and Nerlens Noel, who together should probably be worth 1 first round. I do think Bojan Bogdanovic is worth 1 late first round pick, but we're not even dealing with a late first round pick. We're about an unprotected pick down the line. And so I understand the Lakers' hardline stance. What they could also do is include a swap in 2026 or 2028 to sweeten this. If you're a team, that's not guaranteed that you're going to use the swap, but if you're good and the Lakers aren't, that's a hell of an asset to actually have in your back pocket. So maybe you can get that done. And does that sweeten the deal for, like, if rather than having to send 2 first round picks to one of these teams and hoping one of them will do it for no first round picks? The Pistons need at least 1 first round pick in this, regardless of whether they're taking on Russ or not. And so I don't hate this deal for anyone based off the trajectory of all these teams. I think the Nets might be the hardest sells just because they have to really admit that the Kyrie Irving experiment is over. But if you're getting 1 first round pick and the Lakers role players, or if you're getting 1 first round pick, a swap, and Russ, and you're just cutting your losses with Kyrie, and maybe you're even getting rid of Russ and torpedoing that salary spot, I think I don't hate this. I could see why the Pistons and the Nets would both say no. Love it for the Lakers, obviously. And that's the type of deal you need if you're going to trade these 2 first round picks. Do I think they're contenders this season? Might be too little too late. Like, you have a pathway now to being there next year. Someone will take Bojan Bogdanovic for free if you actually want cap space and you're not going to bring back Kyrie this summer. So you almost maintain your flexibility. Burks and Noel, those are guys that have completely non-guaranteed salaries moving forward. So they're functionally expiring contracts. That's a good deal for the Lakers. You maintain your flexibility if you want it, because it's going to be easier to trade Bojan Bogdanovic than it is Buddy Hield, in my opinion. And then you get a star in Kyrie Irving when he's available, and maybe that can work out there. And this is, look, you're not going to get, there's no other star you're being linked to, short of Bradley Beal, who's played pretty well this season, trying really hard on defense, by the way, relative to the past few years. It's short of Bradley Beal coming out and saying, I want to be traded to the Lakers and I have the no trade clause. Like, you're not going to get a higher end deal than this. Does the front office have the gall to make that, or are they just so married to the 2 first round picks and keeping them into the summer that they won't make this deal? I don't know. If it's available, though, the Lakers should make it. Of the other 2 teams, I think I like it the most for the Pistons, just because it makes sense to get that other asset in the chamber to either use, or you can you can end up trading it as a bigger deal, as part of a bigger deal for another player down the line. And so I appreciate having that optionality if you're the Pistons. None of these players you're sending out are mission critical to your future, even if you think Bojan Bogdanovic is important to the spacing the next 1 or 2 years. And even if it involves taking back Russell Westbrook, again, it's a 1-year thing. This is not talking about sending you into the luxury tax with the money that you're sending out here. And so, especially when it might be later in the year when this gets completed. We're talking about that you can do it before December 15th, but maybe it doesn't get done until after, because the Lakers have tried to remain patient, and perhaps they're waiting for the value to drop on the opportunity cost of getting rid of Russ. I don't know if this makes the Lakers contenders, but it would make them interesting enough to where I absolutely do the trade. That'll do it. Let me know what you think of this trade in the comments. Who says no? Any problems, qualms you have with it? If you've made it this far and have not subscribed on YouTube, please hit the sub button, like, comment, help the algorithm love us back. It would mean the world if you help us continue to grow this community here on HardwoodKnocks. Until next time, and as always, leave a shout out to the one, the only, the player who's absolutely worth both the Lakers' first round picks and their swaps, Frank Ntilikina.